You are listening to Love, Light, Lonnie, the podcast. I'm Lonnie Nishiyama, and join me as we discover the gifts that live within all of us and how these gifts bring us together to love, help others, inspire, and of course, vibrate higher. Welcome to Love, Light, Lonnie. Hi, this is Love, Light, Lonnie, and I'm Lonnie, and this is Linda.
Sure.
AKA Lindsay. No, that's my nickname for her. We go back a long time.
2004.
Yeah, when we were graduating high school.
It's almost our 20-year friendship reunion.
I know. It's so weird.
That's wild. We're so
I know. And we've been connected forever. It's like we've had ups and downs together, but always remained very loyal and good friends. And I'm very grateful for her. So I decided to have her on the podcast today because it's about damn time. And I wanted to start this podcast off with something kind of funny. It's like a little trivia of how we know each other.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. Well, you already said 2004. So like that was one of the questions.
Sorry.
And it's okay. Well, I'm going to just dive into it real quick. Okay. What was our first job?
Oh, obviously, I mean, it wasn't my very first job, but
No,
our first
together.
job together. Duh, Yucatan. We were the top tanning saleswomen ever.
I sold so many like tanning packages to like old men. It was really funny. Okay, next question. When is my birthday?
March.
I'm not Hayden, so don't say Hayden.
I know. 12th? 14th?
That's Hayden's.
14th?
Yes, 14th. Okay,
sorry.
fine.
Ugh.
Pi day. Come on. Okay. What car did I drive in college? At least the color, girl.
White?
No. Oh my God.
Blue?
Yes,
Red.
You're wearing it.
Okay, red.
It was red.
And I know it was like a 2-door. I can't remember if it was like a Lexus or a Toyota.
Because it's kind of it was a Toyota, but it was like
The
Lexus,
high end, yeah.
But Lexus makes it. It's called a Solara.
Yeah.
It was after my Dodge Ram.
Oh my God, there's so many inappropriate stories that are coming to mind from all of these questions.
Okay, we're not even there yet. Okay. My next question is, how did we meet?
We met through our own best friends who were dating. Yeah, I don't.
We won't put their name out there,
Yeah,
but two guys, they were dating.
It was a secret relationship, but they knew each of them were very close friends with us, and they were like, "We need to introduce these girls." And we were both going to USC,
and we were going to USC. Okay, where was the last place we lived together, and what year did we stop living together? And what year was that? Do you remember?
Yeah. So we moved there.
You were dating Chris.
Like extra senior. We don't need to go into that.
Oh.
Our extra senior year, and it was like, was it our spare semester or was it the one before? Like, were we there?
No, we were there longer.
No, I know we lived there longer, but as part of college, was it our senior plus semester, or was it also the second half of our senior year?
Senior plus
that's
semester.
What I thought. Yeah. So 2008.
And then into like
for a long time,
like
years.
2010.
Yeah,
we lived together. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how did I meet your mother, Lindsay Burton? I'll never forget it. She scared me so much.
I think you were like getting a tampon or something. Like
For
you ran in the house to get a tampon, and she basically was. And I didn't think she was home. And she basically was like, "Who are you, and what the are you doing in my house?"
Which is like reasonable, but at the time I was like. This like little Asian girl. I'm like, I don't know. Hi, I don't know my name.
Everybody that meets my mom is afraid of her. First.
But she's like one of my best friends now, so I love her so much.
She comes around. It just takes 10 years.
She's sweet, and you need someone tough in your life. You know, that's why you're strong. Anyways, okay, so then we ended up at this house getting our first fur baby together when we were both just depressed, which was like probably the worst time to get an animal.
Why were we depressed? One word.
Boys?
Sororities.
Oh.
Boys, no, def not.
I was like, I don't even know if I had a boyfriend at that time. I thought I even cared. I was like having a good time.
That was like why we were having fun. Why we were depressed. Sororities, rush, recruitment, and just all of it.
Okay.
Girls. The answer was girls.
Which now you date.
True.
So I have known you for a very long time. I'm really happy. And I kind of wanted to get into, so now that we've established how we know each other, our journey has been crazy together as friends. We're both water signs. You're a Cancer. I'm a Pisces. We drive each other crazy. We love each other to death. But we're very loyal to each other, and been through a big spiritual journey too, personally and as friends. So I know that you've had a huge shift in your life, and I wasn't even going to talk about your sexuality yet, but in your career. So like originally, you were doing like you were a producer.
Yeah. Yeah. I worked in
You
TV.
went to USC Film School. And then all of a sudden, you tell me years later, but you're like, I'm going to go to law school.
Yeah.
So, how did that shift happen for you and why?
It was a few things. My dad is a lawyer and my mom is a mediator, so I'm kind of like the product of that type of environment. And I've always been very passionate about like justice and civil rights and all that good stuff. And also in the entertainment industry, it's job to job, set to set.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty. You're traveling a lot, which was great when I was in my 20s. It was awesome. We got to travel the world and it was super fun. Obviously, you and I got to work together sometimes. Yeah. Hayden and I, one of our other best friends, worked with me sometimes. But we were shooting a food documentary or producing one, I guess. And it was kind of like my bosses and my passion project that we would use our gigs to fund. And we were doing it with National Geographic. And ultimately they said that we had uncovered too much because, long story short, but we should have the same food standards that the EU has. There's no reason we should be putting rat poison.
And I agree with that because I only nursed for I think 5 months with Jack because I was pregnant. It was too hard. Again, I was pregnant like 2 months later. And then with KK, I only nursed for 6 months and I used formula. I'm not ashamed of it. I actually own it. Like I used formula. Okay. And I would ship things in from Europe and it just, it was better. It had better quality ingredients and it was better with their stomachs and their poops were better. So I get it, but it's like, I don't know why America's so against that,
Well, don't get me started. We don't have enough time on this podcast to go into lobbyists and insurance companies and pharma and how intertwined the government is with all of that stuff. But basically, it's the American, kind of corporate structure that like corporations run everything. So Nat Geo shut us down and said that we uncovered too much. We defend their advertisers, blah, 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 blah. And it made me go vegan for a year. It made me just kind of reevaluate everything. And
I remember that. I hated cooking for you. Yeah.
I know. Sorry.
I just love meat.
And then Dia de Campo opened in Hermosa Beach and changed me back to non-vegan.
Oh, you had your birthday there.
Yeah.
I barely remember it. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dia.
Seriously. But then now you like got into law and I think it's so fitting because I could never win an argument with you. It was very annoying. Even when I knew I was right and I had proof, you would somehow turn it around and I'd be like, you need to be a lawyer, Lindsay. And you're like, whatever. You're like, actually, you're right in this one thing. I'm like, okay. And so I actually love that you're a lawyer and you have helped so many people I know and you really are changing lives and helping people that are in a really hard time. So how does that make you feel? And do you feel also like more burdened by it at all?
I wouldn't say that I
energetically
feel burdened by it or more burdened by it because I think I've just always taken on other people's energy and problems and tried to fix them, whether they wanted my help or not. So, I wouldn't say that it's more so of a burden. I think if anything, it's like an outlet for my, fixer, helper, motherly nature to help people.
It's true.
So I focus a lot on, I always represent the person that's been wronged. So, whether it's like a tenant or an employee or someone that's been injured. And I do really like it. And I like forming, personal relationships with my clients. I get to, talk to people all day long for my work.
Yeah.
I obviously get to do oral arguments a lot, which I like. So I think it's a great outlet for all of the things. And then obviously, years of therapy and channeling this have helped me, in my personal life and in my professional life. know like when to stay in my lane and when to push for it and when to let go.
Totally. And I love that. And then, so in this process, you also found the love of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really sorry it's hot in here. I don't know why I wear a sweatshirt, but I had to turn all the fans off because it was too loud. Now we're dying. I, you know, always kind of, I didn't know you were into girls, but like, because it wasn't like a thing, you know, like, and I'm open to all things, but I just wasn't like, it's like I knew, but I didn't know. And then when you told me, I wasn't surprised. It's like probably when I told you I was a medium, you're like, what? I know. I was like,
I was the one that told you, Lonnie, you've been talking to ghosts since.
Oh, okay. Spirit,
sorry. And I'm very spiritual too. But, you know, it took me, I think we would like joke about it when we lived together.
Yeah.
Was it on 30th Street still? There was like 30th Street. We had many units. You change addresses in college a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of our houses, it's like you have to have, there's a bunch of historical laws around USC. So you can't do too much to the houses in the community. You can renovate the insides, but the outsides remain very
same.
You know, historical, that old kind of charm. And along with that comes a lot of spirit,
old energy.
Involved. And you would straight up talk to them and you'd tell me about like their lives and why they were there. And, you know, and
that's so weird.
No,
I don't even remember.
I know. I was like, so Lonnie, come on, you've been talking to spirit and you were like, really? It was, I was shocked that you didn't remember actually.
Okay. Well, it's like, even when I, you know, do spiritual sessions and stuff, I'm like, I don't remember any of it. Like I kind of like block it out, but
that's
I don't
good.
know.
That's good. Cause you don't need them, you know, talking to you all day long. They already do.
No. Yeah. And our just even normal people.
Yeah.
I walk around every day and I'm like, I don't need your energy. Bye. Peace out. But that's cool. And like, I just felt like, you know, we've gone through a lot and grown a lot, but like how did you realize that you were attracted to women? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that could relate to this and you could help them, you know?
True. I do feel like my journey personally is very different from like a lot of
100%
women loving women because it's like I knew, but I didn't know. So, and I don't know. I kind of
think
look
you just
at
love people, you know?
Yeah.
You love just people's souls. That's it.
True. And I always, you know, like when I quote came out, I struggled with like the terminology. I've never really been into like labels, but it's like, you know, what am I? Am I bisexual? Am I pansexual? You know, I have had some very serious and meaningful relationships with men.
Yeah.
But it definitely all started in high school when I look back on it, because I had a long-term boyfriend and we were long distance. And the rule was that I could make out with girls. I just couldn't do anything with boys or other men. And so I would be like, we would have, you know, little high school parties here and there. And I'd be the one being like, let's play truth or dare. Like, let's make out with each other because the boys will like it. And I never looked.
Lindsay, you're killing me.
No, seriously, this is real. That's what I mean. Like it's not conventional. And so I think,
well, nothing is. Yeah.
Like my parents are hippies. They're incredibly supportive.
Oh yeah.
But there was still this picture,
I mean, girl, you grew up in Manhattan Beach. I'm just putting it out there. Okay?
Yeah, there was still this like societal pressure and like not intentional pressure from my family, but I just was always thinking that my marriage, like when I got married, it would be like to a man. And so I never really explored having romantic, emotional connections with women. Yeah. And then I started to.
So fast forward, you get married, you're a lawyer, you're married, we go to Mexico, and I am honored that I got to marry you. Woo! I've never married anyone in my life, people, but I made it work.
Good, don't. Spiritual. Because now, you know, you're just ours.
Says the Cancer. So it was just such a beautiful wedding. We had the best time. I mean, my husband was dancing like crazy on the dance floor. You guys hired this amazing DJ who you like flew in. I didn't even know he was like that big, but apparently everyone knew who he was. And we just like had the best time.
Oh, like literally, we're about to celebrate our 1-year wedding anniversary.
I know, it's so weird.
And I still like relive that week, really, because, you know, we wanted everyone to get there early. We wanted it to be destination.
It
We
was
wanted
perfect.
everyone, yeah, to
Yeah,
be like friends by the time,
we
or at least
were.
know each other by the time that the wedding happened. And that's exactly what happened. And I luckily, a lot of my friends have been married before me, so I had a ton of
Yeah.
advice, like, you know, don't drink too much champagne before you walk down the aisle. You want to remember this day, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took like 4 espresso martinis to go into the like shuttle to go back to the hotel
Oh my God.
at like, you know, 2 or 3 in the morning. Whenever we were going back, I was like, okay, now I can get hammered for my wedding night.
Dude, I went back. No, I hope you're not mad, but I went back like in the first shuttle at like midnight.
Oh,
I was so tired.
I wouldn't even know.
Brian's
I
like,
wouldn't
you look
even know.
exhausted. I'm like, I'm tired from the day. And I was trying to be sober too. And then, you know, because I had to marry you. And then it was like, I don't know. I think because I'm a mom and I just like was exhausted, but it was the best time of my life. And then fast forward now, we're living here. We're really close to each other. Luckily, our spouses get along. They're like pretty chill. And you're considering now starting a family, right?
Oh no, we're definitely going to be starting a family.
Right.
And we were very, very lucky. Like we already
Yeah.
have our embryos made. We already know the genders and that they're healthy. And, you know, so I'd like to wait a little bit longer than my wife would, but my wife's carrying. So whatever
Whatever
she
she
wants to
wants.
do, we're
Yeah.
doing it.
And let me tell you, there's no good or bad. There's no right time.
True.
You know, I had my daughter literally. Had Jack, and then I don't know if this, but I had my son, and then a few months later, found out I was pregnant, and I was like crying about it. But I was like, I look back, and I wouldn't have changed a thing. You know, and they're best of friends and worst enemies, but
No,
I
they're
got it
sweet.
done, and I couldn't imagine my life without my little baby girl. So it's really a special thing. But I will say this, you know, you're inspiring people out there that do listen. You 5 people, you, and
There's more than that.
on Spotify. There's more, yes. But you know, I'm so grateful because so many people sometimes are afraid to be who they are, and that's something that it's funny. I think you and I went through this experience kind of at the same time where I was like, I'm going to come out as a spiritual person. But I was so
Mm-hmm.
worried because I have religious family members, and I'm not trying to offend anybody.
Yeah.
You're entitled to believe your religion or your belief system or nothing. And I'm entitled to believe mine. And I just was so scared about it, about judgment and what people would think about me. And it was funny. It was kind of around the same time of
It
you
was.
coming out and I was coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it was very synchronized. And I think it's the universe and what's supposed to happen, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think that there's something there for everyone to understand. I mean, you don't have to be a spiritualist or a lesbian, but you know, like, or whatever you are. But it's like you just need to know that you're not alone, and you can be whoever you want to be free. I mean, if you just like wearing bubble gum on your toes, like, I don't know where I got that from, but like if you want to do whatever you want to do, just do it, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you know. And be free and be open to be who you are, because the more true you are to yourself, I feel like that's when you shift the universe. That's when energy changes. Those are the people that have been leaders in our lifetimes, you know, or in past lifetimes. Like the people that invoke change are the people that are the people that are the change and that are willing to be it and represent it. So you're doing that, and I really appreciate it. And it's like makes me so happy because we're both so unique.
And unapologetically ourselves, you know.
Yes, and I've learned that from you because I used to care a lot people think about me, and you know, like literally I would go to a club and she's like, "Excuse me, please don't step on my friend." And I'm like, "Okay." You know?
I'm definitely
And
overprotective.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, this group of girls hate me." You're like, "So what?" You're like, "Screw you." I'm like, "Okay, let's just keep it down."
I mean, those girls sucked. So
Okay, all right, yeah. But now I'm like, I appreciate that because it showed me strength that I didn't have. And that's something you get from your mom. And I love that. And now I go over and walk around and I don't really care. People actually think I'm intimidating, I've been told. They're like, "You're intimidating, Lonnie. You seem confident and this and that." And if they really knew me from high school, I wasn't always like that.
yeah, I mean, you know, if I could like, you know how they ask the question of like the beauty pageants, like if there's one thing that you could do to make the world a better place, and they're all like world peace, I would give everyone their own self-confidence, you know, like
Yeah.
because believing in yourself and it's so easy to just be like, don't care what other people think. Of course, thoughts, feelings, we all have them. We all have negative stuff that comes up,
Yeah.
but not buying into it and knowing like, look, I am great. I am amazing. I love myself for who I am. And if there's anything that I want to do to like work on myself or better myself, every single person in this world should be doing that constantly. But you should also have a self-love for yourself. I didn't find my partner until I truly knew who I was and I loved myself. And I definitely had friends that I am no longer friends with because of how they responded when I came out and because of things that they did and like outing me to other friends. And it just, I think you and I both know that like as we get older, our friendships with the people that we see all the time and talk to all the time are deeper, stronger, and like those people are truly there for us. And all of us have, busy lives and stuff, but at the core of it, we're all there to like build each other back up and remind each other that like our self-love is there and that's the most important thing.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
And one more thing that we did share was, we said it earlier, but our fur baby Bear, he lived a beautiful long life. He started out with both of us, then was with me for a huge chunk of time. And then towards the end of his life, and I mean, in many years, because he just lived forever, was with you and recently just passed away. And we just want to give a shout out to him because we love him and he's our Bear and our Usha. And I really feel like he just went at his own time when he wanted to call the shots because he was a boss and just love him. And I think that was another connection that you and I had, and we were supposed to have him karmically. And he really saw me through a lot of things, and I'm sure you too, relationships, spiritual
17
stuff.
years. He lived 17 years. So he's seen a lot. I was thinking about that. Like, it's going to be a lot.
No dog lives that long, by the way.
No, seriously.
And no dog.
and
every time I'd go to her house, I'm like, hey girl, I'm just going to come over and stop by and say hi. She's like, why is Bear going to die? I'm like, no, I'm just coming over to say hi. I'm like, just stop it.
I mean, he definitely was like a little fighter. He was so cute.
Yeah.
He like wore a diaper. He had a little cone. He was like a little half blind, a little half deaf, but he
dementia.
Still ruled the entire house. Like we have a giant lab pit bull shepherd mix. And he would be like, I want your food. And he'd just go over there, all 9 pounds of him. And she would immediately like back up, lay down, like just whenever you're done, Bear, I'll get in there.
I love it. And he used to just hate every guy I dated. Even my husband.
He'd pee on them.
Oh, yeah. Or on the bed. Mm-hmm. Like he was just like, actually, she's mine. So you're going down.
Oh, Bear.
Like, okay. Yeah. I just love him though,
It's so after he passed, out of nowhere, because I've never told Sally about like the Usha nickname that we call him. She just like randomly started calling Zara, our little baby princess cat, Usha. And it only started after Bear passed. And like,
so
I almost said like, look, I'm too emotionally fragile. Like I can't handle that right now.
Oh,
but then I didn't. I didn't, because I was like, you know what? This is Bear like living on. And anytime somebody or your beloved pet passes, it's hard, and you're like, I just want them to be here. But there's ways that they tell you that they're okay, and that felt incredible. Like once I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Actually, like this is like kismet. Like it's just meant to be. Like this is, and I've been sad and upset, and this is him in his own little way. Like, no, I'm still
here spiritually.
I'm here and I'm okay, and
and he is. And
I know.
Like
we
don't want him to suffer anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, anyways, love you so much. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And just know that, like, the people in your lives, you will have all these crazy experiences with, but it's meant to be to better yourself and love yourself. And the people that truly love you for you will always be there for you, And those that aren't, they're just meant to be one of your teachers. So, go live your life and Be happy. Yay. Love Light Lonnie. See you next time.
Yay. Bye,
Bye.
guys.